This meeting start with a prayer and a pledge by Councilmember Keaton-Fish.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day. We thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight and make decisions that are ultimately shaping the future. God, I just pray that you would have your hand in all of this, God, that you would guide and direct us and help us to make the decisions that are absolutely best for the future of this community. It's in your gracious name we pray. Amen.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. You don't need to add, subtract anything.
Not this time.
Good.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Sarah.
Second.
Second by Brent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item D, citizen comments. Is there anybody? I heard that you waited for this meeting so you could come talk to me. Is that right?
Just a little bit of humor.
Oh, I like a little humor. Good. No one?
Good chuckle.
Good. Going once? Okay.
You better hurry, it's kind of fast tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Maybe?
Yep.
Okay. Honorable Mayor, City Council members, tonight I'd like to speak on item H, new business number 4 of your agenda, the charter change for the municipal library. The Goddard Women's Club takes pride in the fact that the Goddard Public Library serves patrons within the city limits, within USD 265 school district and beyond. The library was originally established by the Goddard Women's Club in 1969. The stated mission of the library on their website is to engage the community to build strong intergenerational connections, share knowledge, inspire curiosity, and encourage lifelong learning. The current charter ordinance has 10 allocated seats for board members of the Goddard Public Library. The charter was proposed to change soon after a library board meeting on March the 11th, 2019. It was proposed at that meeting in 2019 that the library board increase the number of board members from 7 to 10. This allowed for 2 library board members who reside within USD 265 school district but outside the Goddard city limits. I feel that there is a need for library board positions that take into account the diversity of the residents of the patrons that it serves. Eliminating board positions of people living outside the city limits but within USD 265 school district, I feel is a mistake. That's where I stand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
We know where to find you.
You have that.
Is there anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Sold. Okay, we're moving on. Okay, item E. Alright, this is mine. I need to look scared or something. Okay. I think you all have known that I've been doing these Mayor's Awards, but I have something written up I'd like to address the council. So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, tonight is a special night for myself. I've been recognizing special members of the community for being amazing community members and leaders. And each and every one of those people have done extraordinary things for our community. But tonight, I get to recognize someone very special to myself, and who has played an instrumental role in building the city of Goddard. This man gave me an opportunity to prove myself and what I was capable of. I don't really know what he's seen in me at the time because there wasn't really much to brag about. But he looked at somebody with possible potential. And looking back on that moment, he noticed that maybe Hunter had something that he could actually do. We call it around the office a little gray matter in between the ears. This man gave me an opportunity. And some successful people oftentimes are given this gift. This gift is to recognize potential. Potential in people, potential in different business ideas, and potential in communities. Those gifted people are called entrepreneurs. Tonight, I have the honor to recognize my mentor, my hero, and my friend, John Dugan. Much like the potential he's seen in myself, Mr. Dugan has seen the potential in the city of Goddard and what this community could become someday. What most people don't know about John is that he has given millions of dollars worth of ground, money, and resources so that our community could grow and thrive. Most people would have a hard time giving $1 billion company, Walmart, free ground so that the community could have a place to get their groceries. But John seen the potential in having a company like Walmart here in Goddard. And that one donation to our community has generated millions of dollars in sales tax revenue and is the sole reason why we have a $80 million Star Bond complex here. He's brought over 1,042 homes to Goddard, which has a value of over $229 million, so that families could be started and grow. And by doing that, he has brought in over $873,000 in property tax generation for the city so that we can fund our police department, build new parks, and maintain our city's infrastructure. Because he has a strong faith in God and his commitment to the Catholic Church is the reason he wanted to build the Holy Spirit in Catholic Church in elementary school, so that families in Goddard could have a place to grow closer to God. The list can go on and on, but at the end of the day, Mr. Dugan did all of this because he believed in Goddard and because he believed in the potential that our community could become. I just hope that he can look back on his risk that he took on our community and say it was a good one. And I hope that he's happy to call this community home. So tonight, I want to say thank you. And I want to present the Mayor's Award to Johnny Dugan. Someone will get over here and take a picture. All right, Stephanie.
Can I eat it?
How about we just do this? Is this better?
Smile in the back.
1, 2.
Congratulations, sir.
You want to stay for the rest? All right. Moving on. Consent agenda, item F. Do we have any questions or concern about the consent agenda? motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Aubrey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item G1.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, this is item G1. Quick background. On June 23rd of 2022, it was noted a vending machine had encroached on the public right-of-way, causing a violation of Chapter 13-209, using streets. Property owner of 222 North Main appealed before the governing body on August 15th in 2022. It was determined during that meeting on August 15th that the City Council did not want to allow the vending machine to reside in the public right-of-way. It was noted recently the vending machine has made its way back into the sidewalk. A discussion with the property owner revealed that he would like to petition the governing body again to see if there'd be a more favorable determination this time around. On August 21st of 2023, the item was presented back to the governing body. Discussion revolved around if all business that have merchandise in the city right of way should be allowed to, or if all business that have merchandise in the right of way should be universally prohibited. It was decided to table this item for future discussion. The City Council is now considering how they want to improve a business using a portion of the public right of way. This is under 13-209. No person may use any portion of any sidewalk or street right of way for the purpose of displaying or offering for sale wares, goods, merchandise, or other items. Nothing in this article, however, shall be construed as prohibiting the city governing body from temporarily waiving the prohibition of the subsection in connection with community promotions or community-wide celebrations, which such waiver is considered to be in the best interest of the city. So, if you guys want me to repeat that, I can. If not, it's an agenda item. Allow all businesses on the central business district to either have overflow merchandise within the city right of way, as long as it doesn't block the sidewalk or cause a health, safety, or welfare issue. You can prohibit university displaying for sale of goods or merchandise in the city right of way in line with Chapter 13, Article 2. You can allow only this business, deeming it a public good. There's many different avenues the council can take in relation to G1. This is the vending machine in question. It was noted that previously it was on the green side, and then it moved to the blue dot. So basically what a lot of people don't realize is that the central business district runs from Santa Fe to 3rd. So every business, as soon as you step out of the front door, you're actually in the public right of way. This was done intentionally. Most businesses and cities have a central business district that's higher density, and it has more pedestrian engagement along Main Street in this particular case. And so stepping out of the front door, as mentioned, you're actually in the public right of way. So when the vending machine relocated from the green to the blue, it's considered a violation. Financially and non-legally approved as a form, it is recommended the City Council deliberate and direct staff accordingly.
Okay, so this is pretty much summary. It's Blue Ball's vending machine, and I don't care either way what you guys want to do. We have to give him a variance pretty much to have his vending machine sticking out. Do we want to break the rules for Jamie? Or not? What do we want to do? Keaton? Sarah?
I mean, I think during the last meeting, all that I really wanted to ensure is that we're maintaining the same rules for all of Main Street. And so if we have Wall of Denim and we're allowing them to sell merchandise on the street, which they do, then, you know, we can't pick and choose. I just want to see us come to one agreement of whether we allow it or not.
So are you making a motion to not allow?
Just having a conversation.
We just, I think with that we should just focus on following the rules. What do you guys think?
My thought process, at least when we talked about this the first time, a clothing rack, easily movable. Tables and chairs, when you open up your patio, easily movable. The revenue created from those items, easily trackable, taxes collected and paid on them. I understand it's a pop machine, we're selling pop for 50 cents a dollar, the taxes on that are not like a huge amount, but it's just, to me, it's the, I don't know what words I'm looking for here.
It's not consistent with the code and what we've been allowing right now, right?
Right.
Aubrey?
Yeah, I think the code is written to be applicable to everybody. So if we're going to allow this, the code needs to be changed. All right, and so that's the way I feel about it. I get the discussion about people moving clothing racks out, but it's moved back in. Not a permanent, fixture that's in the right of way. So I think the question here is, what are we gonna do? Can we expand that easement to allow stuff like that? But in this particular case, for me, it's what's good for the goose, good for the gander. Everybody needs to have the same rules applied all across the board.
Brian?
Well, if, I don't know, I mean, so I'm fine with businesses putting their stuff out for people to walk by and buy, but yeah, moving it back and forth is.
Well, I think you got a majority of people on saying, keep it where it is, follow city code, right? Stick with what we already told them, correct?
So then are we gonna enforce that down at Wall of Denham?
Wall Denham puts their stuff back.
Okay, so, well, so then do we need to change the verbiage of the actual code?
There.
I'm wondering, what if we change the verbiage to Main Street District is exempt from the rules during business hours? They're allowed to put stuff out, because I mean, the rules do say that they're not allowed to have it, so then we are making, we're either making an exception for Wall of Denham, or we're forcing Wall of Denham to follow, you know? So we just gotta pick a side here. I just
Well,
want to
then
see
you're-
consistency.
Then if that's the route you wanna go, then Jamie can put his vending machine on wheels and roll it out, and then roll it back, and roll it out, and roll it back. If we're just gonna stick to one thing, then we just need to stick to it. So are we gonna allow them on the sidewalk or not? What do we wanna do?
Again, it goes back to that discussion, you know, I like the idea of businesses open during business time, they pull their racks out, it makes it a little more vibrant. But you got permanent,
So Micah, if we directed you to change the city code to where it allowed it during business hours, up front from 8 o'clock to
8 to 5.
5 o'clock, would that be acceptable? Is that okay? Are we allowed to do that, Ryan?
I can write it whatever you want.
Yes, it's at the discretion of the city council. It would be a violation, obviously, if we did 8 to 5, then after 5, we would have to say,
Enforce it somehow.
we have to enforce it. I mean, we won't be around, so we would just have to notice it the next day. I get it pretty early, so if it was before 8, and I'm like, oh, there it is, I'd have to presume that it was there overnight.
Does that leave it open to argument though, because the donut shop's business hours are like 6 a.m.?
Everything is open to argument. It's really however you guys want to.
I just don't want to keep having this conversation over and over again.
Sure.
And like, we made a ruling once, and I understand the council changed
Mm.
since then, but every time the council changed, is it gonna come back?
He can technically, I mean, he can bring it before council as many times as he wants to.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we would continue to enforce it. We can't prohibit a citizen of Goddard from approaching council, but at the same time, we would continue to enforce it. So we would keep sending letters and talking to him, telling him to move it. If he kept bringing it back out, we would. Unfortunately, every citation is considered an individual and separate citation, so anytime we brought it out, if it was a violation, we would have to send another letter and start the process over.
If we don't have consistency, if we're wanting to change the code every other month because
Yeah.
of somebody wanting to change something, then we're gonna have bigger problems on our hands. So we just need to stick to our code the way it is, I think. And stick to our guns, because if we keep changing and flip-flopping all the time, we're gonna be having staff work on, and attorneys write up new code for our city charter, and it's gonna be terribly expensive. So we want to
I'm fine
stick with the
that,
code.
but- Okay, but then are we enforcing it at Wall
Yes,
of Denham?
yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Good? Not good.
When we talked about it before,
Yes.
it got brought up about, like, the
Clothing
clothing
rack.
stores and then putting it out, and what was stated at that time? Do you remember? Do you know what you would say?
Sleep deprivation provides poor recollection on my part, but I will say that generally speaking, it was perceived differently in terms of vending machine was kind of what you brought up. It was more of a permanent fixture versus the clothing racks are brought in and out. So we've historically have taken that directive from August of last year, saying that we are going to basically exempt informally clothing racks and more strictly enforce vending machines, because this vending machine is not the first vending machine that we've had to enforce. And so we've denied about 3 other people having vending machines in public right of way. Some of them wanted in parks, and so we've said no historically because of that right of way provision. So, and this is simply us kind of enforcing a precedent that we've already generally had. The clothing racks in generally would be considered an exception.
So we're wanting to change anything, or we're wanting to continue the way we've done, and allow staff to continue to allow them to enforce the rules the way they
At their
have,
discretion.
the way they have consistently done in the past. Nothing changes?
Nothing changes.
Okay, nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
So just the directive we would be given is to enforce it on Wallow Denman, or are all clothing racks exempt, or how would you like us to proceed?
You're going to enforce it the way you have in the past. So
Okay.
if you see that the clothing racks in front of Wallow Denman are temporary, and you guys feel that it can be brought back and enforce that, how you guys see it.
Giving us
Is
some
that
mild
good?
latitude?
We're giving you some latitude.
Okay,
Perfect.
sounds good.
Good.
Do I have a motion and a second in that regard?
Do I have a motion?
So motion.
Motion by Keaton,
Second.
second by Aubrey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Very
Item
good.
G2.
This is G2. This is rezoning for 1001 South Goddard Road. This is zoning case number 23-3. So, not so quick background. Goddard Incorporated has submitted a rezoning application on behalf of Bob Armstrong of JGB Properties. It is for a tract of land located north of 23rd, south of Swanee Drive. Developer would like to rezone the land into General Business District C2 for any potential businesses to lease the property. After review by the Planning Commission, final review will be by City Council, and it was approved and reclassified 30 days after publication in the newspaper. At this point, City Council will go through the requirements set out on Article 13, which we did in the past, so we're going to skip that part. Letters were sent out to everyone within 200 feet into subject property to come and speak. If they choose at the public hearing on August 14th, some neighbors showed up and expressed concern at the increase in traffic along 199th Goddard Road. Some said they would prefer it as a C2 over R2, and the main concern was about traffic on 199th. There was a public hearing on the matter per state law during the regular Planning Commission meeting on August 14th of 2023. A decision of the Planning Commission was to approve the rezoning 5-0 unanimously. Part of the reasoning was desire to not see the building sit empty due to its exclusive zoning district it resided in and the difficulty of repurposing a smaller church building to a residential use. City staff went through the requirements of Article 100.8.1-17 after deliberation by the City Council. It was determined to table this item for future discussion. City Council is considering if they want to approve the rezoning of a church building on 199 South Swanee north of 23rd from R2 two-family residential to C2 general business district. Lot acreage is 1.10, square feet is around 47,000. Current zoning is R2 and proposed zoning is C2. The star over here represents the building. This is the lot. This is the zoning for that area. So this is R1. This is 3-family. This is 2-family. This is industrial, and everything that is not colored is going to be in the county. There is a small cost for publication, legally it's approved as a form. It is recommended City Council waive the reading of the ordinance with voice and to approve the rezoning request case number 0-23-3, a voice plus a roll call. We do have Ken Lee of Garver here to represent that if you do have any questions.
I'm aware of that this was tabled due to the concern of, I guess, the neighbors around and concern of more traffic flow. I honestly don't feel that if we rezone this and the property owner put an insurance agency, that it's going to be any more traffic flow than a church having potlucks and things. So I think it brings good value to Goddard, it brings whatever amenities want to come to Goddard, and we can actually use this property. So I have no problem rezoning it.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to a couple of the neighbors, like I said I would go over and do, and there was no concerns. The only concern was traffic flow from anybody that I had the chance to talk to. So yeah, I 100% think I'd rather see it get rezoned and used than just an empty building.
Okay, fine. Okay, do I have a motion to waive the reading, or Sarah?
Make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Aubrey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve the rezoning request case number 073-3.
motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Aubrey. Roll call.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Councilmember Leland,
Yes.
Mayor Larkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Trailer,
Yes.
Councilmember Collins.
Yes.
The ordinance 932.
Thank you very much. This is item H.1. This is a fee to replace broken infrastructure on construction sites. So during the construction of residential and commercial buildings, the city installs new meter cans, meters, setters, lids, and other necessary infrastructure for water, sewer, sidewalks, and streets. When contractors are performing the work on these sites, sometimes they damage the recently installed new infrastructure. This requires city staff to replace damaged infrastructure in some cases before an occupancy permit can be issued. These costs are carried by the city at large. City staff would like the builders to reimburse the city for the costs incurred by damaged infrastructure, and if necessary, city staff would hold the occupancy permits until these costs are recouped. The city has included a form that home builders would have to sign, showing that they are aware of the accountability under H.1b. City Council is considering approving language to be adopted in city code that requires home builders to pay for the replacement of broken damaged infrastructure installed by the city. The provisions of this ordinance shall be adopted into the City of Goddard Code under Chapter 4, Article 11, damaged infrastructure. Following this outline potential costs, true and actual costs will be applied on a case-by-case basis as determined by city staff. So you can kind of see some costs for general infrastructure. This is stuff that's typically, not all of it, but most of it can be damaged during the construction. If you have questions related to this, I have to excuse myself, and more related to public works, so Brooke Brandenburg's available for comments on that matter. Financially, there is small cost of publication, legally it's approved as form. It would be recommended City Council waive the reading and approve the ordinance adopting certain language to cover the costs incurred by the replacement of damaged infrastructure and developments.
Micah, can you go back to the breakout? So, Brooke, you did a really good job. That's
So I've got to give that credit to Nick Ball, my water league. He put these prices together for Micah. But just add on to what Micah's saying, on probably a good 50% of new construction, we're replacing the setter, the ring, and the lid at a minimum. And so we're getting, $300 to $400 into that, and it's brand new infrastructure items that we are replacing.
right.
Now, and in an effort to fix that problem, we're going to try on Big Arm. We're going to install the water services ourselves. This will be our trial for us. And there's 58 services down there. We think we can install those and have the same amount of man hours in, but be using the new parts one time instead of taking new parts and throwing them away and replacing them with new parts.
Brooke brought this problem to me shortly after our January 17th meeting about how the city was incurring a lot of costs during new home build construction with the contractors being out there. He expressed his concern with some of the developments and builders and things. And this is a way that I've been hounding the city and everybody about having consistency in our policy. And now the developers know that if their contractors run over a lid, or run over a water meter, they know they're going to get charged. Before, we were trying to play all of these other games on how we can, maneuver around it, and this just sets it black and white. And everybody I've talked to, all the developers, because they want to hold their contractors accountable if they run over the lid, or if they run over the meter. So I think this is a great way to start formalizing our process and development. So, do you guys have any questions? No?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Could we also include sidewalks in this? Because we have
Please.
sidewalks that
Streets
get
too.
broken nearly every time a house gets built.
Yes.
I have no problem with that.
To add on to that, sorry, we've got sidewalks that are getting decimated, and then we got another issue that's popping up. The pumping trucks are pumping concrete in to put in the basements and foundations, and they're dumping hydraulic fluid over brand new asphalt. And that breaks up the binders in that, and it's a place for a pothole. Basically, we've got many years wear on a brand new road. So that's an issue as well.
Should we approve this the way it is and then come back and add on to it, or how should, if we wanted to, because they probably got to get costs and break that out, right?
That's a per incident.
Right now, the ordinance was written for mostly sewer and water infrastructure, so if we wanted sidewalks and streets, we would have to amend the ordinance. So I think that either you can approve this one and we amend it in the future, or you table this one until we can amend it and bring it back to you on the
So we
18th.
approve and amend.
Or do you want it,
Or
or
do a
is it
separate
best
one.
to create a separate one for sidewalks and streets?
I think Chapter 4, Article 11 is a good spot for it. In my mind, I'd have to look at where we want to drop, streets and sidewalks in the city code, so either
How
it's gonna be
about
under
we
chapter
approve
4.
this one the way it is and then reconvene on the sidewalk and everything?
I mean, there's always an option that the contractor can fix it, you know, and then doesn't get charged the cost. So
And
if-
there are
if-
times that they do harm.
Once we identify it, if they're willing to fix it, then, you know, then they're off the hook.
I'm not sure how often they're willing to fix it.
Well, they have done some fixing of some torn up sidewalks in Cloverleaf on their own. We haven't asked them to, and they've repaired and replaced them. To jump back to the water stuff real quick, just to inform council, before they start putting roads in, as soon as they put water service in, we go out and we GPS every single water service, so we know exactly where they're at, so when they put 6 feet of dirt on it, we can find it, which is inevitable too. And we also put T-posts by it, we mark it blue, we put flags, they are very well marked. So there's nothing stopping them from running over except they're them getting in a hurry.
Okay, well,
If you guys don't
I
have any
think we
questions,
should-
I make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Keaton, all in favor say aye.
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 Make a motion to approve the ordinance adopting certain language to recover the cost incurred by the replacement of damaged infrastructures in developments.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Keaton, roll call.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Councilmember Leland,
Yes.
Mayor Larkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Trailer,
Yes.
Councilmember Collins.
Yes.
The ordinance 933.
Thank you very much. We'll bring an amended ordinance back to council on the 19th to include sidewalks and streets. This is item H.2. This is an IRB request for the Rusted Bean. So on June 5th, 2023, Shane Reader of Rusted Bean Coffee Shop approached the governing body about reimbursement for the tap fees in consideration of industrial revenue bonds, IRB. City Council voted to formally consider the request for the IRB and to refund the tap fees. Approving the IRB required a cost-benefit analysis, which is called CBA, to be conducted and a public notice be sent out, scheduling time for public hearing to review the request. Application for the request was submitted along with the fee of $2,800 to cover the cost of the bond attorney as well as the required publication and the CBA. This is a public hearing and will need to be formally called to order to review and comment. After hearing everyone who wants to comment, the public hearing can be closed and the City Council can deliberate. So we're going to go through the analysis and then the mayor will open the public hearing, after which anybody who wants to comment can comment, at which point once they're done, then the mayor can close the public hearing and then deliberation will happen from City Council only with no comments coming from the citizens at that point. So the governing body determine if they want to consider an IRB either in part or in full for the Rusted Bean. Typical guidelines, which is something to be used for consideration. Is this business unique or is there another business that provides similar services to try to avoid a fair advantage? What kind of jobs are being created? High-end jobs, medium or low-end jobs? A but-for understanding, if not but-for the incentive, would this project be able to move forward on its own? Does state law prohibit the business from receiving tax abatement incentives based on its North American industry classification in NAIC? The Rusted Bean in NAIC is listed as 722515, which is not prohibited use. What are the opportunity costs? This is called alternative value. So basically, if you spend $100,000 in one spot, you can't use the same $100,000 to spend somewhere else. So that's something to be considered. Any questions for the bond counsel? They're not here today. Financial advisor would be Matt Lawn, city treasurer, or community development director would be myself. Results of the cost benefit analysis CDR are presented in the following slides. These results have been discussed with the Wichita State University Center for Economic Development and Business Research, which is CDBR. The thoughts and comments represented do not reflect the thoughts and comments of school and only reflect the thoughts and comments of myself being the Economic Community Development Director. The full CBA is attached in Exhibit H.2A. So we're going to jump into the numbers. Feel free to stop me anytime and ask questions. So the Rusted Bean, this is compared to the Star Bond, and this is just for comparison. So number of new jobs proposed is 7. Amount of payroll will be 2.5. Amount of capital investment is around $540,000. It should be noted the substitution percentage is 100%, which basically means that they're not creating any potential new jobs within the trade area. That just simply means that there are existing jobs of similar value and type already in our trade area at 100%. Impact summary, so with the 100% substitution, the direct and indirect jobs drop off. Direct and total payroll earnings drop to 0. The job multiplier stays the same, but they always use that relative job multiplier. So these numbers drop to 0 with that 100% substitution. Present value of net benefits. So present value basically means that taking into account inflation, the dollar that is present today will not have the same value as the dollar that is present tomorrow. So that's considered net present value. So with net public benefits taken into consideration compared to public cost, the return on investment would be 67.3%. As noted that the return on investment typically you want it to be above 100%. So when you look at it in comparison to the Star Bond, you have 644%. So we have a 6-to-1 almost return on our investment as opposed to less than 100%. These are some numbers which are generally kind of hard to see. I recommend zooming in on your agenda items, but Basically what I did is sort of a comparative analysis. So we took some of the similar impacts and statements, and I adjusted the rate of inflation to 3.18. That was kind of generally, because we had a 3.5 when we did Camp Bow Wow, so I reduced it to 3.18. With a stair-stepped abatement at 190, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, etc. over a 10-year period, given into account total benefits and costs, we probably would not see a positive net flow until year 7. So reducing that to 150 with the same rate of inflation reduces our potential cash flow into positive around year 5. 100-year abatement with a 0% and full ad valorem after that, we would see a positive net flow around year 3. So just something to be taken into account. Application fee has been collected to cover a portion of legal expense and publication costs, cost benefit analysis, and staff time. A resolution has been drafted by bond counsel Kevin Cowan and Gilmore Bell. Legal is approved as form. It is recommended the City Council refund the application fee and do not approve the IRB based on these numbers. It's not what I would consider a prudent investment. But if City Council feels inclined to grant an IRB, the recommendation would be for 1 year at 100%, year 2 at 50, every other year at 1. At this point, we do have the applicant in the council chambers if you do want to speak to them. Chamber and Mr. Reader are here. Bond counsel is not here, but if you guys do have any questions for either myself or the city treasurer, Madeline, we are available.
I'd like to hear. I first wanted to do a stair